There are three types of homes that people will usually downsize into, and there's only really one of three. One of them being a home that's freehold. You're going to go to a smaller home from the larger home that you have to get on a smaller lot and a smaller home to make your life a lot easier from a maintenance perspective, from a cost carrying perspective, and perhaps going from 2 stories into a beautiful bungalow. The second type of home that downsizers may decide to downsize into is a townhome. Now, it doesn't have to be all stairs. I know some of you watching this are going to go, I'm not going into a townhome because it's all stairs. Well, there's a beautiful thing with townhomes in some gated communities or in communities that are geared towards seniors, where there are homes that are attached to one another and they sit on a condo land, so that you have a small condominium fee that you pay, but you're not responsible for shoveling the snow or maintaining the lawn or your garden, etc. You may be maintaining little pots or gardens in your backyard or in your front porch, but generally speaking, in a condo townhome complex, the condo corporation does the bulk of the work for you, but you have the benefit of having a roof over your head that is your own. You don't have to contend with the elevator, and you usually have visitor parking for people to come and visit you or stay overnight if you wish. Now, the third one, it's sometimes the dreaded condo for people who don't want to go from a home to a condominium. But condominiums can be wonderful things for those of you looking to downsize into condos, to have a lot more freedom and to come and go as you wish. As well, those of you who are considering downsizing into a condominium, you might have the benefits of amenities which you never had in your home. Maybe you were driving to the gym every morning to do that workout. Maybe you're going to yoga classes and you're spreading yourself a little too thin and you're looking to simplify. So a condominium building, and there are several, and by several I mean a ton in the city of Toronto, up north in central Toronto, downtown, that are specifically geared toward mature downsizers that offer incredible benefits, whether it's yoga classes, whether it's poker night or bridge night, game night, where everybody gets together and has some fun. But condo living isn't for everyone. So certainly for people who are looking to downsize a lot of their life and who want to be able to lock the door, go away without the worry of their home and everything under the roof, they can do that by way of a condo. But again, it may not be for you. The reality is, when you're thinking about downsizing, you're probably going to want to spend a considerable amount of time here trying to figure out which is right for you. So is it a bungalow? Is it a townhome in a mature complex with other seniors where you can go about your day and much of the work is done by the condo corp? Or is it finally condo living, if that's what you decide? Now, it's not my choice. You get to choose. But part of being able to make the right choice is knowing the benefits, the pros and the cons of each of these individual ones. And I'm going to go through them with you right now. So let's start first with the pros and cons of moving from a home to a smaller home. Perhaps you're yearning for a backyard, you still want to have barbecues, and you're not ready for a condo, and you definitely know you don't want to have a townhouse or condo fees on your back. So a beautiful bungalow in a neighborhood might be perfectly suited to you. Perhaps there's a bungalow in your current community that you've been eyeing. Well, that may be a great idea, and the pros to that are going from 2 stories going on to 1 level will allow you to take easier care of the home. For sure, you're not going up to rooms, and if you're in a 4-bedroom home, you're probably only going to your primary bedroom, and maybe you're cleaning bathrooms that the kids used to have, but you have no use for it any longer. So going to a smaller home, a smaller bungalow in your neighborhood might be the perfect solution. You go to a 2-bedroom, maybe you go to a 1-bedroom, but all of a sudden you're not cleaning or maintaining rooms that you have no business being in, or the kids just simply don't come to visit, and the grandkids are too big to sleep over. So that makes good sense. Now, that's a big pro. We've taken our to-do list or honey-do list or some of the expenses and we've shrunk them. The reality is, what you want to ask yourself is also about the property. As we go into retirement, or as we go into the freedom 55s or 65s, we want to travel more, or perhaps go on other adventures, or shift our focus and priorities to things that are more health and wellness related. We're not going to be hosting in the same way. The kids have left and now we're empty nesters. We don't want to end up with a home that has a humongous property if we're not looking to continue outside work in addition to inside work. So taking a good hard look at how much property comes, because there are some beautiful bungalows in all sorts of neighborhoods, particularly in rural neighborhoods, and some of them sit on 1 acre or 3 acres of property. So you want to ask yourself, when you're downsizing, Is this something that I want to maintain for the next 5 to 10 years? Am I okay with a 1/4 of an acre lot? Am I okay with a 200 feet deep backyard? Do I want a pool? Do I really want all of this maintenance? Or is it conceivable that in 5 to 10 years, this may be too much? This is where I say the shift to go into condo townhomes could be a really good solution. Perhaps you're looking to pare down the home, and you want a pool for now, but you don't want to be responsible for the pool. That's why I love condo townhomes, but not just any condo townhome, specifically bungalow or bungalow condo townhomes in neighbors where you are around like-minded people. Perhaps you're in an active seniors community and you hadn't thought of it before, but you went to check it out and you realized that a lot of the people there are about your age. They seem to have the same priorities. They're traveling more, or perhaps they've had some mobility issues, so this became the most realistic option. So I'm a huge fan of condo townhomes, assuming that you are willing to give up the privacy and the yard. Now, one of the cons of going to a condo townhome over a bungalow, for example, is sometimes you don't get a fenced yard, and sometimes you're not allowed your dog or your cat to come along with you. So if you've got pets, you're probably going to go with the first option. You're going to downsize into a bungalow or a much smaller home in your current neighborhood and be perfectly happy and content and accept the fact that you've got to do some maintenance. Now, if you go to a condo townhome and that seems like the best and most viable option for you, you want to do your due diligence. The pros are you can have a wonderful community. The con is you may not like the neighbor next door. The pro is you might love the gym, you might love the fitness room, you might love the entire amenity or amenities that are surrounding you in this complex. The con is the maintenance fees are usually where those fees hide. So there's an offset. You're getting all of these beautiful amenities, but there is a condominium fee that you are paying as a homeowner every single month. Now, I don't know if that's right for you, only you know. But overall, the maintenance on a condo townhome is going to be far less than if you were in your own freehold bungalow, because the roof usually is taken care of by the condo corporation. And like I said, the shoveling and the lawn maintenance is taken over, but you may still be at a point where you're not ready to give all of that up. And that's the stuff that keeps you happy and active. You get to decide, you get to make the plan, and we're here to help you execute it. The pros to living in a smaller home in your same community or moving from a home to a bungalow, there are many pros. My most important favored ones are you get the freedom of staying in your freehold home where you get to make your own decisions about the home and the property, and usually a fenced yard if you're lucky enough to have a lot that can hold a fenced yard. So if you're a dog lover and you want to have your fenced yard and you want to have as many pets as the city allows, then in a freehold type product you can do that. Now the con would be if you're someone who likes to travel and you don't want to worry about the maintenance and you don't want to worry about possibly the roof or the windows or the this, you're going to have to worry about that because the home is yours. It does not belong to a condo corporation. Now the pro and the con, I'm going to say for some of you, is the pro might be you live with one of your adult children or you're living in multi-generational living in your own home. That may be wonderful. But the con is you're also living with your adult children or living in multi-generational living. So I know some of you live with your kids. You don't love it. I hear about it all the time. It depends what your situation is, but again, it's a pro and it's a con. Now, if you're watching this and you know definitively you do not want to go to a smaller house, you just don't want to have to worry about your own home, then a condo townhome may be the perfect solution for you. There are communities all over the GTA where there are specifically condo townhomes, and I'm going to say more so in the suburban areas, where they are built around a community or a complex. Sometimes they're gated communities where you can have the beauty of a condo townhome, and it doesn't have to be all stairs, because I know some of you are like, I can't deal with stairs. I don't want to deal with stairs. I want everything on one floor. And yes, there are some amazing communities where there are bungalows or bungalofts with a condo fee or with a common element fee that actually runs with the property. But the house has gotten smaller, the responsibilities have gotten smaller, and the condo corporation will take care of shoveling the roadway and potentially shoveling your driveway in some really, really neat ones, and potentially doing the lawn maintenance and taking care of your yard. Now, the con to this type of living is if you love your animals and if you've got more than one dog, there may be restrictions in the condo townhomes that prevent you from bringing your dogs along. So we want to think about this when we're considering a move. How many pets do they offer? Do you have 2 dogs? Are both your dogs allowed? Are your dogs over 40 pounds? Are dogs over 40 pounds even permitted? And is there even a fence that's permitted? Can you keep your dogs in your little fenced yard. Or perhaps, like in many condo townhomes, there are no fences permitted. So all of this due diligence and all of these questions should be answered well before you get out on the hunt to figure out what place is right for you and what places are possible. The cons with condo townhomes. Now, I'm a huge fan of condo townhomes where they're bungalows and they make really good sense. We talked about the con having to do with the dog and the fenced yard, but again, you're going to want to do your due diligence every single time to make sure your dog can come along or your cat can come along. But one of the cons of living in one of these communities for some of you watching this may be you don't have any use for the gym, the pool, the rackets, and your maintenance fees are actually going and contributing to the maintenance of these things. So you might be sort of unhappy about, contributing to these things that you never make use of. So that's something to think about. If it bothers you now, it's probably going to bother you later. And in most condominium fees, the fees do go up, sometimes 3 to 5%, sometimes more, sometimes in line with inflation, sometimes a little bit more. So if you don't want to have condo fees, you are going to skip this step entirely and you're going to stay in the first bucket, which is you're going to downsize into a smaller home, possibly a bungalow in your community, and maybe condo townhomes are not right for you. But I will say this before I talk about condominiums. In condo townhomes, the fees are generally speaking less than they are for condos specifically. Why is that? Because there aren't as many amenities as there are in a condominium tower. Another pro to living in a condo townhome is you have neighbors on either side of you. People don't just walk into their doors like in a condominium and you only see a bunch of doors. You actually get to see people. You probably have a garage and a driveway. And to me, it feels very much like having a home. It is not like going into a condo. It is very different. And often you find very like-minded people that live in townhome complexes, particularly when they are specifically seniors or mature clientele focused. The dreaded condo. Some of you watching this, you're like, this is the last resort. I'm never going to a condo. I never want to live in a condo. And there are others of you who perhaps started in condo living or an apartment many years ago, and you are so delighted to be going back to simplify your life. Now, the pros to condo living are truly many. One of the best features of living in a condo is being able to have the ability to have turnkey living. I want to go on vacation. I found a place for my cat to stay or my dog to stay. Now I can all I have to worry about is locking my door and going on holiday. The other pro is underground parking. For those of you who have lived or seen a family member or a loved one live in a condo, the beauty of underground parking in the wintertime in Toronto is amazing. Where there's no brushing snow off your car, you go right to the car, you start the car up, it starts, it's not chugging, and it's actually comfortable. You can go from your door right into your car with comfort and ease. And I know for a lot of people who've got health concerns, worrying about trips and falls is just too high a risk, and so condos make the most sense. The other pros are usually great buildings have great amenities. So be it yoga, be it a fitness center, be it a swimming pool, the rackets, squash, whatever it is you're looking for, you want to be really serious about what you're looking for, your priorities are. There are a lot of condos across the GTA that are centrally located with easy access to amenities and transit. And I have to say, if you're looking for a condo specific, there are many that are geared towards mature residents. So finding a place may take a little bit of time, but I promise you in every neighborhood, there are buildings that are better suited for you than others. It's just about finding them. The cons to condo living, as I see it, is if you're somebody who's going to feel sort of cooped up and you're not going to like the isolation or the independence of being in a condo, then you probably have your answer. Condo living isn't for you. Somebody who's afraid to get into a confined space like the elevator may not be happy taking the elevator to go in and out of their space. Only you will know that once you go out and start testing these options out. Another con, which can be a really big one and very problematic, is accessibility. Not every condominium in the city of Toronto is wheelchair accessible. So if there is some concern about mobility or needing a walker or a wheelchair in your future, then you want to find very specific buildings that allow you the freedom to be able to age in place and make sure that you are comfortable coming and going with ease. The barky dog next door, maybe the tenant next door, pets are permitted and you don't like pets and their dog's barking because they've gone off to work all day. There are lots of noise disturbances in a condominium that you can't necessarily control. So making sure that you do your due diligence and are 100% comfortable, because light sleepers will not do well in condominiums where the person upstairs is constantly dropping something on the floor or dragging a chair. If you're not someone who likes rules, then Condo Corp may be difficult for you, as there are rules set out by the Condo Corporation, enforced by a property manager, to make sure that everybody is living there cohesively, happily, and also so that the property is respected. So in some condominium buildings, you cannot just traipse your bicycle through the lobby to take it up to your suite or to your locker. So it's important to realize what those rules are. Is your bike important to you? Are your pets important to you? Do you have an idea of what you have to do or want to do on your balcony? Well, you want to read the rules first and make sure that you're going to be okay there. This may seem so incredibly overwhelming, and this video is not meant to do that. This is simply to say there are options and not everyone fits into one particular category. So if your friends or loved ones are pushing you towards condos and that does not feel organic or right for you, then it probably isn't. But what should happen is more explanation, exploration about each and every one of these options for you. And heck, I'm going to say going out to test these options out to see what feels right. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much that involves your decision making, your wants and wishes, and truly how you plan to define your very next adventure. So my best advice to you is, you can watch this video, you can save it, you can share it with your loved ones, but if you want to have your voice heard, the best thing is to get out and sit down and have a consultation with someone and really figure out the best pros and cons for each house type or condo type to figure out what is right and best for you. Thanks for watching.